cannot believe how lucky you have been with all the leopards falling out from everywhere. Finally, you've come to the part of the show where I can say hello to you. I'm Stefan Winterboer, and this is the bushwalk part of Safari Live. We're on foot. We're in the middle of the same bush that you've been driving around in with Brent and Jamie. Got nothing else around us except for the bush and this massive termite mound that you see me on. It's really quite high. We were chased up here by some buffalo. The buffalo have since moved on, but we've still stayed up here. But I must be honest with you that because we came to this termite mound, because the buffalo are in the area and herded us sort of onto this high point, we found the most amazing thing. I have been looking for one of these literally for the entire 20 years of my guiding career. It was uncovered by an ant bear, and it's right inside this hole. Come and have a look at it. There it is right there, and although it doesn't look like much, I'm gonna dig it out with my stick so that we can see a little bit more of it. There we go. That is a pottery jar. And termite mounds like this were used by the first African people to inhabit this area as a bank. They would store their valuables in a clay pot like this, dig open the termite mound, put their valuables in the pot, in the termite mound, and the termites would actually cover this up, and only they would know exactly where that is. And this, we're so lucky, this has been uncovered by an ant bear and allowed us to see inside here. Now, to give you some reference as to how exciting this is for me, this pot predates the stores or the supply stores that came into this area. Supply stores came into this area in about 1840 to about 1820. So this would be before that. And I have a piece of pottery that is on top of the shelf in James's tent that was dated at 800 years. Can you imagine? This, we've just uncovered an ancient bank vault that could be 800 years old. How awesome is that? I'm actually seeing if I can wet it a little bit so that we can show you a little bit more of what's in it. While I'm doing that to you, I'm actually listening to the buffalo that are behind us. Can you believe it? Still coming through the bush. We've got to be so careful out here. It's actually too easy to get my head stuck onto a... There we go. It's uncovered. This pot, you can see, has even been scratched a little bit in a pattern. That to me is just so awesome. An 800-year-old bank vault inside this termite mound, middle of the African bush. How awesome is that? But we're going to move back to those leopards. They're way too exciting to be gone from them for a little bit longer. You're going over to Jamie.
This day just keeps getting better. The leopards being wildlife and us filming live wildlife. Oh, Mvula, you're about to fall out of the tree, boy. And true to cat and his particularly leopard form, he's decided to escape the circling hyenas by making his way up the only tree that he saw as a viable option. Unfortunately for him, it's not really what I would call the most comfortable of options. Look at him, peering across to where the hyenas were last. He looks like he might fall out of the tree. Now, leopards are incomparably graceful, incredibly well coordinated, and phenomenally powerful cats. But they fall down. They most definitely do fall down, just like your pet cats do at home, every now and again when they roll over, misjudge, and then fall over and get embarrassed. And hello to Max. Max, welcome on this incredible safari. Max, I hope you've got your safari hat and your binoculars ready. Now, Max is 5 years old and would like to know how leopards are different from cheetah. Well, Max, the biggest difference is actually, if Mvula would be so kind as to turn his head. Yes, thank you, boy. If you have a look at his face, Max, see how he's just got spots around his face, around his cheek? Now, a cheetah has a black stripe all the way from the corner of his eye right down to the corner of its mouth. Now, cheetah are long and skinny and built for speed, A leopard is slightly shorter, but much, much bulkier and stronger, kind of like a weightlifter in terms of their build. And leopards really are the most phenomenal weightlifters. A male leopard of Mvula's size, he probably weighs in close to at least 170 pounds. And male leopards have been recorded basically dragging 120% of their body weight or their body mass up into trees. Just picture doing that. Imagine something your body weight. Now imagine pulling it up a tree with only your fingernails and your teeth. And that is how strong a leopard really is. Hello, boy. Mvula, I have to tell you, has the most incredible eyes. Okay, he's coming right up to the vehicle, so we're going to be nice and quiet. He's going to walk right behind Brian. That is absolute magic, right next to the vehicle. He almost could have rubbed his cheek on it as he went past, and it just goes to show you how comfortable our magical animals are with the vehicle and how little impact we have on their day-to-day lives. Where are you going, Mvula? What's your plan next? I don't believe this, he's chasing the hyena. Sorry everybody, hold on tight. Where's he going? What is he going to do next? This is just too incredible for words. Sorry, we gotta change position. Might get a bit noisy. This is a very, very difficult block to drive through, but we're gonna do it.
Termite mound. I don't know if it's as old as 800 years, but it's certainly pretty old. And just an unbelievable find that Steph had there. Now, over here is my good friend Johnny the giraffe. His name changes on a frequent basis. He is dead, as you can see. In fact, he is long dead, and he was probably killed by lions or hyenas. But everything out here is a food source or a home for something else. Now, have a look closer down here. You can see on the edge there a little sort of waxy knoll, if you like, lit by my little lamp. There it is. Now, what we're going to do is take this microscope, and we're going to pop it over the top of this waxy knoll, and I'm going to show you what actually lives here. It's unbelievable. Now, we're going to go across the microscope view now, and there, everybody, is the entrance hole for a stingless bee's nest. And we've just had the bees coming out, and I wonder if they'll come out again. There we are. There they are. See the little bee just laying on more wax? And they're living inside the brain case of Johnny the giraffe. Look at the mouth parts going, putting the wax in the right place, using the legs, using the incredibly skillful mouth parts, and even the antenna. There are two of them there, so there'll be a colony of probably up to 50 or 60 underneath here, living in the brain case of Johnny the giraffe, and they'll be making a very sweet honey. Well, it's a kind of watery sweet honey, very much prized by local people, but normally these bees live in trees. They don't normally live in the skulls of long dead giraffe. But, as you can see, Johnny, although he had to sacrifice his life to some of the predators of this area, all is not lost. His contribution to the unbelievable ecology of this area continues. Spectacular stuff. Now, there are leopards all over the place. I think we'll go back to the old girl, 9 years old, Shadow.
Now, we're still with these leopards. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, the other thing is, look, yeah, VM spotted it as well. The smallest carnivore in Africa, the dwarf mongoose, is hiding from the leopard. Now, if a leopard saw one, it would chase it. They're tiny. They're a couple of inches long. A gregarious mongoose species. Now, we can hear the leopard calling in the background, so let's leave the little mongoose. Oh, they're sweet. And go across to the leopard again. Normally she'd use that soft little ow, ow she's doing now, but she's using a much louder call because she's not getting a response. That was almost a full roar. Look how close she is to us. Isn't this amazing? You're on a live African safari, and we have a female leopard mere 4 feet from the front of the car. So she keeps coming back to this area where we are now, searching for the cub. And I'm really starting to get worried that that young male might have managed to catch that cub. Look at that golden African light on a live African safari for the Father's Day weekend. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else but right here. Keeping searching. She's actually heading back to where that young male was. Okay, let's have a look. But while we keep following the story, let's go back to Jamie with the other leopard and hyena.
This is the most incredible sighting. I'm so glad that we could share it with you live. Mvula is still here. We returned back to the side of the carcass because I couldn't find him in the dense vegetation. And all of a sudden, he snuck up right behind me. Now, I'm going to have to reposition to show you exactly what I mean. Oh, hold on. I think Brian can get a shot from where he is. Hello, boy. And off he goes. I thought he was going to challenge the hyenas once again. He's hungry enough to do so. He's got a little bit of a flap to his belly. And on this really special Father's Day, for you to have met one of the most famous leopard dads, probably in the world, if I have to be completely honest, well, it doesn't get more perfect than that. And to watch this live, if you think that this is a sighting that we just get every day, I have to tell you something. I have never ever seen a leopard steal from a hyena like that before and then get pushed out again. And he's still slinking about the outskirts, making his way closer and closer. Here he goes. Mvula, courageous and dominating, even now that he is no longer thought to be the dominant male leopard. And very good afternoon to Jessica, who was wondering what is the biggest animal that we've ever seen a leopard pull up into a tree on drive. Now, for our live drives, probably some of the biggest have been animals or antelope species like kudu. And hold that thought, I just want to go back a little bit in case he's still here. But I have heard, while we try and find our leopard, I'll stay here for now, but I'm going to go search for him. I have heard of a male called the Anderson male who lives just a few miles to the west of us. I've heard of him hoisting baby giraffe up into trees. From talking of the largest things down to one of the smallest things, let's find out what scaly creature Steph has found.
Now, one of my most favorite things, everybody, is lifting up stumps and having a look at what lives underneath. You're back on the bushwalk with myself, Steph, and we have been walking around in the bush over here looking for just such a surprise. Right at the end of my stick is a snake. Have a look at this. It's a centipede eater. And it's going underground at the moment. See if I can, oh, just lost it. But the good thing is that there's also a scorpion here. And it's one of the nasties. Have a look at this. There we go. That is an olive thick-tailed scorpion. And let me tell you, if you get stung by one of them, that'll be the end of my show. Let's come this side. Here we go. Here it is right here. We just got to get Gendre through the bush. Here it is right here at the end of my stick. Now you don't want to get too close to these little guys because that tail there packs a big wallop. It feels like taking a piece of hot steel and putting it out in your finger. That's how sore it is. I once had one in my shirt and it stung me on the back when I was putting my shirt on. Kept me bouncing around for quite some time. Now obviously, there's a good way of knowing which scorpions you can toy with and which scorpions you can't. You have a look at the pincers. You can see that these pincers are relatively frail and thin looking. Have a look at that. When you compare the pincers to the thickness of the tail, you can see that this scorpion absolutely relies on catching prey with its pincers. Careful your knee. Yeah, don't worry. And back on the cover there. And that, everybody, olive thick-tailed scorpion. Yay! All right, time for an update. And you're going over to Brent. Jamie, excuse me. You're going over to Jamie.
Oh, everybody, have a quick look at this. What do you think that is? Floating in the middle of a jar. We're about to go back to a break, everyone, so I'm just going to quickly reveal it to you. It is one of those scorpions that Steph was looking at, but a much thinner-tailed one. Come back to see the great leopards of this place, the unbelievable hyenas, and the stuff on the floor. We'll see you in just a little while. Those people must be wondering what's going on around my neck. Well, this is a black mamba skin that I thought I would amusingly place here. But so much excitement going on out here. We've still got all the leopards. I, of course, can see exactly what's going on everywhere here. Jamie and Brent and Steph. Now, it doesn't seem to be that all the leopards are running around at the moment, which is fantastic. Well, it's not so fantastic. Why don't we have a quick look at the rover? And what we'll do is cut across to the Djuma dam cam first. I think if we can, we'll just move in there. No, we won't. We'll stay on me. Okay, we'll stay on me. And let's see what else we have underneath the microscope here. And there is the microscope. And is everyone. We did a little quiz yesterday when we were in our rehearsal. Can you turn me up a bit? Sorry, I believe my audio is quite soft. I think it's probably because... There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, maybe it's because I've got this black mamba skin over me. Anyway, that is the claw, everyone, of a lion. And I think that's rather remarkable. Now, I just want to ask Kirsten if we're ready to do a little rover test, are we? Okay, we're going to go to the rover when we go to TV. Anyway, that's the case of, or that's the microscope look at a lion's claw. How is that? How's my audio now? Right, I think it was definitely the black mamba skin that seemed to have been causing a bit of a problem around my neck. Right, out of microscope now. You can see I've undone my black mamba scarf, and here is the incredible lion's claw. Isn't that fantastic? So it's about the size of my thumb. Unbelievable. Now I want to also show you a snake, or the snake's eye. Now Steph had that unbelievable snake. He, of course, has an eye second to no one in the bush. And now we have a vine snake in this jar, gently floating in formalin. Not very delicious, of course, but there is its face. And what I'm going to try and do now is get you a view of its eye with the microscope. I just think this sort of technology is so fantastic. We're able to get these really incredible close-up views. Now, let me just try and focus before you go across. There you are. Have a look at this. Or not. There we are. Isn't that spectacular? That is the eye of a vine snake, everyone. And I know it's a bit grim watching bits of it floating by, but I just find it absolutely astounding. Now, we're going 1 minute to TV, everyone, so I'm going to take this down And then I'm going to explain to the TV that we have the rover and that we have, of course, the Djuma Dam cam. So much of technology. Okay, here we go. I'm going to be silent now, everyone. You haven't lost the feed. Keep watching, and like I said, it's wonderful to have you with us. It does feel like we've got a whole lot of our regulars patting us on the back and egging us on, and it's just a great encouragement. And clearly the animals of this area decided that your encouragement was well worth it. They've all come out in force, en masse. Right, 20 seconds to go. Here we go, everyone. The rover is about to make its world premiere. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that you're enjoying this astonishing Father's Day weekend special. Hashtag Safari Live if you want to talk to us, ask us questions, send us comments. We are live from the middle of the Kruger National Park, an iconic national park on the northeast corner of magnificent South Africa. We've got Brent out with leopards, we've got Jamie out with leopards and hyena, and Steph scouring the bush for scorpions and snakes and all sorts of things. And from my office tent here in the middle of a wonderful clearing, we've got some incredible technology. We've got this microscope which we use to tell you. Now we're going to cut across to the waterhole camera there. There you can see the waterhole camera without an animal in it, but Ronald the rover is sitting there next to the water, and we're now going to cut to his view of things. There he is. I will now drive him slowly forward and attempt not to give him a swim, because Ronald doesn't like swimming. He ain't so good in the water. Now, we just before you, well, I mean, we did have some buffalo earlier on, but you had all that leopard action, so we didn't come and have a look. But just have a look at what Ronald can do, and it does give us the most amazing view of the world. And when the buffalo come up and sniff at him, and the zebra do the same, it is just so very special. This is a waterhole, of course, one of the last remaining bits of water, and it is pumped from the other side, from what you would call in the States a bore, no, what we would call a borehole, and I think you would call a well. There's a pump there that fills this pan, and the pan, of course, is feeding beautiful animals that come down to drink during the dry season. We are in the sort of throes of a fairly substantial drought at the moment. So that waterhole, as the dry season continues, is going to become more and more important for the incredible animals of this wilderness. Let's head back across to that lovely male leopard, my favorite, Sindile.
Welcome back. Shadow's still walking around, calling around us, but it just was such a beautiful shot of young Sindile sitting on top of that big termite mound. Beautiful chloris grass in front of his face. Lovely late afternoon African light coming through. Remember, you're with us on a live African safari, and if you want to ask us any questions, use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. And remember, tomorrow is Father's Day. If you want to send a shout out to your dad on Nat.Geo Wild, remember to get those things through on hashtag Safari Live. Okay, so we're going to try to catch up with that female again. She seems to be moving through there. I'm really hoping we don't find her finding her latest cub's carcass, but that is a possibility. Hi, Adala. Welcome on the back of the safari vehicle. Adala is saying how awesome it must be to hear this meow of a large leopard. Strangely enough, Dala, a meow is one of the only sounds leopard can't make. They've got a very different type of bone in their neck compared to a domestic cat. So a domestic cat has a solid hyoid bone, and that's where they create their vocalizations, and they go meow. But a leopard has an elastic cartilaginous hyoid bone that vibrates, and that's how they're able to get that deep noise we're hearing. Now, if you had to describe the way a leopard calls, it's almost like someone sawing wood. And when they do a full roar, it's sort of a... I'm just trying to turn around. There's some big stumps, they might give us a flat tire. Of course, we do change a few tires following these animals through the bush. Okay, there we go. It looks like we managed to get out of that tricky spot. I just want to see where that female is going, but while we go have a look, I'm just going to go around behind the young male. Remember, there are other people out here. Whoopsie, watch out, Vim. I've never lost a cameraman yet. Come close a few times. Might get a really cool little sneak peek of that young male from the back of this termite area. And there you can see the shadow of our vehicle as we sneak around. There we go. There he is, still lying there. She's come back actually, but we'll look at him first. And there we go. You can see that satellite collar there, as I was explaining earlier. He unfortunately caught a rabid dog and had to go away into quarantine. Now, very unusual behavior we're seeing here. That's because he's come back after being gone for so many months, and she's already had other cubs, so he's probably quite confused. He thinks she's calling for him, so he keeps answering, but she keeps attacking him, growling at him, chasing him away, because she's actually calling for the next generation, another cub. But there is a strong possibility that that cub could have been killed by this young male. It is all very complex out here in the African bush, so especially, oh, listen to her, she's still calling. Now, we've got a really interesting question from Tony, and especially with all the vocalization we're hearing at the moment, it's really relevant. Tony would like to know, do leopards ever make warning calls for their cubs to hide? They do, Tony. Normally they'll growl at something that's threatening the cubs, and that will sort of be cue for the cubs to make a disappearing act. But leopards often are forced to leave their cubs alone for many hours at a time while they go hunting. And that's when those cubs normally get killed. So she will leave them in what's a sort of safe place. At this age, the cubs can climb. But when something like that is going after them, he can climb as well. So a really, really difficult situation for this female leopard. And I really feel for her. And I'm really hoping that cub survived. But while we see what plays on here, let's go back to Steph, who's marching through the African bush.
In the middle of the African bush, right here at Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Kruger National Park. And like I said, this is a giant-sized elephant skewer. Have a look at this. And how do I know that? I know that because of all these marks. This is where the elephant's teeth rubbed off the bark. Have a look at that. And he did this in the circular motion. And I'm going to show it to you now. Give you an idea of how strong these animals actually are. They put it in their mouth, turned it around, and it came out the other side just like this. As funny as that looks. And they got to the end. When he got to the end, he just dropped it, and then he carried on for more. This is the tree that he got it from. It's a combretum. Literally just bent it over, broke it, and then put it in their mouth. And can you imagine an elephant as big as what it is gets its sustenance from just that little piece of bark right there? That's where the tree's goodies sit. It's where a lot of water and moisture sit. It's also where a lot of sugars and other nutrients lie. The wood of the tree is literally just to get it up into the sky so that it can get some sunlight. The actual good bits, pieces that the elephant are after, are just this little piece. I'm trying to find a place where I can show you how big an elephant's tooth actually is, and I think this is it. That is as big as an elephant's tooth. You can see my hand there. I don't have the world's biggest hands, but this was 1 molar in their mouth. Now they get molars just like we do. They've just only got 4, 1 on each side and then 1 at the bottom on each side. And they get compressed from the back forward against their tusks when they get old. And we always know when an elephant's at its oldest, when they get to their last set of teeth. They get 6, we only get 2. But on that note, before I take a bite of this juicy morsel, Jamie's got a vulture that might fly away before you go back to her. You're going back to her. Enjoy.
Luckily for us, our vulture's not planning on flying anywhere, but another one of our much maligned but actually much misunderstood scavengers. On your live safari, my name is Jamie, and you're on the back of the vehicle at the best possible time, because as you can see, the afternoon light is starting to set in as the sun sets, and we've just managed to make our way out from the middle of that really thick, dense vegetation and back out onto a road. When you last left us, we were with Mvula, that male leopard. We're now right in the center of Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Sabi Sand in the Greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa, an area that is famed for its incredible wildlife spectacles, but we really did get absolutely some of the best that Africa really truly has to offer this afternoon. I haven't given up on Mvula just yet. We're going to go for a quick loop around where he disappeared and see if we can't see him where he pops out. So buckle up, or not necessarily, but hold on to your hats, and we're going to go search for him. And while we do, over to James with an 8-legged friend for you.
Tickling your nose. Well, I'm getting that feeling as we speak. The spider, as terrifying as it may seem to many of you, is a tarantula, the African version thereof, and it's actually known as a baboon spider, and the reason I have it on my nose is, of course, that it is dead. And we think it was dead, or deaded, killed, by a wasp. Now, what wasps do, it might not actually be dead, but just paralyzed. They'll sting them, these spider-hunting wasps, sting them on the abdomen like that, and lay their eggs inside. And while the spider is paralyzed and buried in a hole by the wasp larvae, which is basically a sort of grub or worm, will hatch and eat the spider from within and then go out and do the same to another spider. Not very nice if you happen to be the spider. Now, something equally terrifying is the sight of a spider's fangs. Look at this under the microscope, everyone. There are the spider's fangs. Those shiny black things there are the fangs of the spider. You can see them surrounded by very nerve-sensitive hairs, and that helps the spider to know where to bite. Now, they're totally harmless to human beings, most of them. You do get various species of baboon spider, some of which aren't very harmless at all. This one is. But if you were a grasshopper or something like that wanders past the baboon spider's burrow, well, then you're going to be in some sort of trouble. Now, I'm going to move him backwards, and I'll show you the spinnerets on the end there. I'll just refocus quickly. Oops, there we are. Now, if you wondered at where a spider spins its web from, it's from there. You can see in the middle of the picture there, I'm just going to try and slightly change the focus the other way. There, those two things in the middle of your screen that are the most sharp to the light, those are the spinnerets, and it is from there that the spider produces silk. Now, this particular spider digs a hole. It doesn't, in fact, dig a web, but at least spin a web, but all spiders are able to produce silk, and it will wrap up its silk, or wrap up its prey in the silk from those spinnerets. So that's the baboon spider. Mighty magnificent creature, I think it is. Let's head back to Brent and a full frame shot of the best pelt in Africa.
The young male is on top of that termite mound. She's still calling dramatically for the missing cub. I'm really, really hoping that cub is okay. Yeah, she is a beautiful female. About 11 years old. You can see that beautiful, beautiful face, those long white whiskers. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Oh, and she's up and she's off. And she goes, she's calling again. There she goes, right past us, looking for that cub. And we're about to go into a break shortly. So be sure not to disappear. so we can help you understand what's happening with this incredible leopard sighting. Wow, guys, isn't this amazing? And she seems to be slowly creating some distance between herself and Sindile. I'm going to stick with her. But she does keep looping back as well. I've lost sight of her now, Albion. Can you see her? Ah, there she is. Oh, where are we going to get through here? Let's just go around the termite mound. No mulberry bushes to go around out here. See if she takes this chance. Look at her. She's taking this chance to get away from him. She's running. She's timed it perfectly. I wonder if he's going to follow. The other vehicles are still with him. There's the cub. The cub's alive. The cub's alive. Incredible. Absolutely amazing. I'm so happy. The cub survived. This is amazing. I'm just going to try and move forward a tiny bit. This is the first ever sighting of Shadow's cub on Safari Live. And we were so worried about it today that it might be expired, but there it is. 3-month-old leopard cub. I am ecstatic. I'm over the world. I can't even speak. I'm at a loss for words. I don't think I can say amazing again, but wow! Sean, just letting Sean know. Sean, she's just called the Mampimpa and it's alive, and she's now heading west into that block on the other side of the road. Are you firm? Are you firm? What's the vehicle lock at the moment? Does it confirm it's 2? FM Sean, you're more welcome to take standby. Nope. Isn't this absolutely outstanding? I'm just at a loss of words. Keep how she looks like she keeps checking back. Look at that. She keeps looking back to make sure that that young male doesn't follow her. I just can't believe this. Isn't this amazing? Look at that. I've got the most amazing news in the world. The cub has survived. It's right here. I'm going to try and get you a visual of it. She managed to get away from her last cub, and we now have a tiny 3-month-old leopard cub with us. And it is unbelievable. I was really convinced that that cub might have got caught by the young male. There we go. I'm just going to go forward a tiny bit. There it is, there it is, there it is. Look at this, isn't just the cutest thing you've ever seen. So she's managed to keep that young male away from her baby. Look at that. This is just the most amazing sighting I've had. It's just been leopards everywhere today and absolutely incredible behavior, stuff you never ever see. Wow, isn't this... Sorry guys, we're on a live African safari and we've been watching this female leopard call for her cub for the past hour and a half, and I was starting to really think that that cub might have been killed by the young male who was also there. But no, she's managed to protect it, and now she's moving away as fast as she can from that young male with her cub. Remember, hashtag Safari Live if you want to ask us any questions about that glorious bundle of fur. Look at it go! Now this leopard cub's about 3 months old, and the first year of a leopard cub's life is really dangerous. They have a 70% mortality rate. So 7 out of 10 leopards born will die. I'm going to try stick with her, but she is going some very thick stuff. I'm speechless. I'm at a loss for words. I'm just so happy and so excited that that cub has survived. You can see we do get a little bit attached to the animals. We follow them on a daily basis. And it's hard not to, and I know you shouldn't, because it is Africa and it's nature at its most raw, so things get killed quite often, but you can't just help get a little bit attached to the creatures we follow on a daily basis out here on Safari Live. Well, Janet, a big thank you to you too for joining us on the live safari. Janet says, Brent, you made my day for finding the leopard cub. Janet, I can tell you this was a very much a team effort. I was out with the trackers. Johnson sat with the Shadow and Sindile the whole day to make sure we had them for the beginning of the safari. So I can never take credit for all of this. It's just that I have such a fantastic team out here that I work with every day. I'm really lucky to live in the bush, go on live safaris, and have a great group of friends to call my work colleagues. Okay, now I'm not going to follow her for too much longer. It's getting dark and I don't want to disturb, and I want to make sure that this cub has the best chance of survival. It's amazing it survived today, and hopefully it's a good omen for this cub's future. Okay, look at that. Oh, disappearing into these round leaf teak thickets. I'm going to try stick with them for a little bit longer. Okay, I've still got her parallel to me. Oh, sorry, I might have got a bit overexcited there. I'm back to sort of a mild speed, but unfortunately, or fortunately with me, it's never really mild. Quite an excitable chap. But what an incredible live safari it's been. My mind is just blown. How well the incredible animal characters have decided to play along. So while we try get another view of her disappearing, I'm going to give you one last little squiz, and then I'm going to leave her be so that cub can be safe. She's going to pop through. There she is. We'll see. They might come out into the open in front, and I'm going to let her take that little cub to safety. There it is. Hasn't that been incredible? I'm so ecstatic. Oh, lost for words. Now we're going to leave something small and furry and go to something else that's small and possibly furry as well with Steph.
Welcome back to the bushwalk, everybody. My name's Steph if you've just joined us, and we've got the hairiest of all hairy caterpillars here for you. Have a look at that guy. Now you don't want to touch them. These hairs are super irritant, and it's exactly why this worm or this caterpillar is so brightly colored. It's to warn any birds in the area that he is either, or she is either very distasteful or is actually quite dangerous. Now I know some of these hairs can be so irritant that they'd actually clog up your airways and stop you from breathing. How's that? Sorry about my arm in the way. But look at that, isn't that the most fantastic creature you've ever seen in your life? Got a big hairy face, some whiskers. And is now creeping deeper into the bush to spend the night a little bit warmer. This time of the year, it's quite chilly at night time, and these little caterpillars need to spend most of their time in deep cover just so that they can stay alive again. Keeps them warm. They come out in the daytime, sit in the sun, some of their leaves. Isn't that amazing? All right, and after that, we're going to send you up to James, who's in the tent just waiting for you.
You know, I'm normally known as the pessimistic one, but I'm so glad that my optimism today paid off, and Brent, who's normally so positive, his didn't pay off, at least today, his pessimism. Fantastic stuff that we've had that little cub. Let's have a quick look here. We're going to take you across to the dam camera. There's the dam camera, everybody, and you can watch this every day. And check this out. We're going to just go and have a look at that full moon. Zoop, zooming in. It's just managed to lose focus completely. Let's go back to the water hole. There we go. There's the moon being looked at by Ronald the rover. Now, Ronald has had a horribly lonely time here today. He's had absolutely no company at all, while the leopards have been knocking about on Arathusa and Djuma, of course. And so, unfortunately, he's just had the odd bird flying past there. That was a Birchall starling that was going on there. Let's go straight back to the leopard cub.
So as we tried to leave, she popped up right in front of us, and we're at an incredible place where elephants have dug water. So she's brought the cub for a little drink. The elephants have dug water in a hole there, and she's about to go to a cave that's got water in it as well. Look at this, isn't this just amazing? This is a live African safari. We have had the best leopard luck for the most most elusive animal to find. Serengeti Debbie is on drive with us, and Serengeti Debbie would like to know what a mother and cub would do during the night. She might go hunt, and she'll leave the cub hidden in a thicket. Look at that. Isn't this just the most special thing? Okay, so she's got to a little... Oh, the cub's going to fall. He hasn't got big enough to... Oh, here we go. Just managed to pull itself up. Oh, that is amazing. Let me just try to sneak forward for one last little view. Liam, I'm not going to drive off the cliff, am I? I hope not to. But there we go. We're going to watch her disappear into this little river system. Oh, sorry. She's hiding behind the leaves. But she's going to find a nice place to hide that cub now. And we're going to leave her be here. And she's given us just the most incredible live safari today. There's no words to describe seeing a little cub like that, and to see the incredible behavior you've seen between Jamie and Steph on the walk, and it's just been too much. Speaking of Jamie, before I trip over my words, let's go see what she's up to with the hyenas.
I know exactly what it is that Brent is feeling in terms of tripping over his own words. It's just been the most incredible afternoon and so special. We could not, well, the animals couldn't have planned it better on this very special Father's Day weekend. Now, don't forget to send through your shout-outs for tomorrow's show. Same time, same place, a live safari here on Djuma, Arathusa and Cheetah Plains Game Reserves. I'm whispering once again, really quietly, because to end off our incredible safari experience after what we've seen with our hyenas, I've brought you to see a brand new mother. My name is Jamie, and this is my favorite predator. I'd like to introduce you to a female called Gwen. Now, Gwen, or the viewers have this name comes from our incredible and loyal viewers. Now, Gwen has got one tiny little cub in there, at least one. She might have two. And I'm really hoping that in our last few moments, the little black bundle of fluff might just stick its head out, but it's not going to do that if I speak too loudly. So we're going to have to whisper our way through the last few moments of this incredible day. And as the evening light descends, our chances of this cub coming out get stronger and stronger. And it's just like the animals knew that it was Father's Day, or at least at Father's Day weekend. We've had babies galore. We've had Mvula, the dominant male leopard of this area, who has sired countless generations of leopard cubs. Yes, hello, girl. Hello, gorgeous. How's your baby? I said to you at the start of this safari that I would hope that I could change your perception of hyenas as something mean and malignant and horrible and thieves. They are the most, please take my word for it, they are the most incredible animals. And if we can share the sighting of this little cub with you, it would be only the third time that we have ever seen it, and it will be about to become probably one of the most famous hyena cubs in the world. And the best thing about this is that you can follow its story, and Shadow's cub's story, and Mvula's story, and all of the incredible Sandile's story, all of the incredible characters that you have met today. You can continue to follow these stories for weeks and for months to come. And the joy, as you could tell from our afternoon today, the joy of these live safaris is that we cannot script it, we cannot plan it. The animals write their own stories, and it is just up to us to tell you them. I'm going to say goodbye for now. Hopefully our little cub makes an appearance before the end, but I don't know if it's going to. But while I sit and wait patiently, let's go over to Brent with something very large.
And the incredible safari isn't over just yet. We're being blessed with a nice herd of eddies just before the end. So we're on a live African safari. We've seen leopards, we've seen hyenas, and let's go across, and we've got elephants for the last little bit. And thanks very much for joining us. And remember, we do this every day. This is Safari Live, and have a great Father's Day weekend. Remember, tomorrow morning, we'll be doing the exact same thing, same time. But I'm sure you're tired of me talking. Let's end on that beautiful elephant.